Good morning, afternoon, or evening, everyone. I'm your host, Erin Reber, and this is Some Good News, Lake Royale, 2nd edition. This past year has been unlike any of modern history, but even in the midst of difficult times, the indomitable human spirit prevails. Here's some good news from around the lake to hopefully make you smile, spark some joy, and remind you of what a wonderful community we are blessed to call home. What better place to start than with the littlest lake lovers? Valerie Dumproff's 5-year-old granddaughter was a quick study during her very first fishing lesson last month. Dave and Val Mitchison's granddaughter Cheyenne, on the other hand, already knows her way around a rod and reel and is her pawpaw's best fishing buddy. Carrie Ann Plume's 4-year-old son had 2 big thrills recently. First, when he caught this very impressive bass, and then moments later when the occupants on a passing pontoon cheered his big catch, truly making his day. Inga Farr reports that Sam and Mason Brown got up to some spring break shenanigans recently. I have no idea what that is, but it sure looks like fun. Despite the cold water, Mason took to the surfboard like a pro. Christy Wilder's sons, Deeks and Charleston, love visiting the pavilion, soaking in the sunshine, sand, and sparkling water like true children of the lake. Candy and Shell Welch's grandchildren had all kinds of fun while staying with them. There was kayaking, swimming, sledding, and even a ride on a very unique front yard roller coaster. Kids aren't the only ones who's having fun on the lake. Last summer, Chris Phillips and Candy Welch safely enjoyed spending time together on the water. That's a solid 6 feet, ladies. Our neighbors come in all shapes and sizes, including the canine variety. Angela Radford's dog Edmund is a weekender here at the lake. He plays hard and sleeps harder after a day spent fishing for rocks. Days at Lake Royale are his favorite. Oakley Clift is never so happy than when she is soaring off the dock, something Mom Nicole wholeheartedly encourages, thanks to the energy it burns. Just look at her fly. Jacqueline Angler's sweet dog loved getting together with a few new buddies on a recent play date. My own dog Remy got to meet some new friends of the 2-legged variety. He was a little nervous to dive back into his therapy dog work after 14 months away, but several awesome neighbors volunteered to help him re-socialize. It's safe to say he remembered how much he loves people. Meanwhile, older sister Darcy couldn't resist a ride on my paddleboard, so long as I was doing all the work. And speaking of boat rides, Mike and Kathy Stiak's dog Mia recently experienced her very first one, but it was all work for her sibling, who was ready and willing to lend a paw to the UPS guy. Poor little Daisy Doodlebug had to have 6 tumors removed recently, but much to Mom Betty Ann Taylor's relief, they were all benign. Daisy got to recuperate in style and is now fully recovered. Thank goodness. Lindsay Hesh and Zach Merritt share their lakefront vista with both their dog Duchess and Puddles the cat, who loves his bird's eye view. Rob and Bethany Wilma's cats are also loving lake life. Perhaps that has something to do with all the turtles that visit their dock each day. Just look at that little baby. Speaking of babies, 'tis the season. Ducklings can be found all around the lake these days. Looks to me like these moms decided on a play date for their sweet broods. If that's not cute, I don't know what is. Last but not least, a rare mermaid spotting has been caught on film. Thanks for this prize-worthy shot, Nicole Sullivan. Please tell Leah that I hope to catch a glimpse of her flitting through the water this summer. Once again, spring is upon us, and after some rather intense pollen, I was beginning to think we'd need a yardstick to measure it. The earth is once again in bloom. Color abounds, as does new life, and it's almost worth the sneezes to see all the new blooms. Thanks Betty Ann Taylor and Nicole Sullivan for these beautiful shots. Here at Lake Royale, we are blessed to have some awesome people living among us. Joyce Green McLeod, a retired Army nurse and longtime resident, was recently featured on ABC 11's Shiro segment. Quite the well-deserved honor. While you may recognize her as the lady who walks up to the newspaper box each morning dancing to the music in her headphones, she has spent years serving her community in a multitude of ways. From volunteering at the health clinic in Lewisburg, delivering meals to the elderly, serving on the community emergency response team, and even stepping up to volunteer as a poll worker, Joyce is a major asset to both Lake Royale and the community at large. Thanks for all you do, Joyce. One of my own neighbors had a huge milestone this year. After living in the U.S. for many, many years with his green card, Keith Ishikawa decided to take the plunge and become a U.S. citizen. His wife Janice tells me that though COVID made the process even more difficult than usual, Keith persevered. Leaving nothing to chance, he studied hard and even got his 2 young daughters involved in civics lessons. In the end, he passed with flying colors, earning 100% and being sworn in as a U.S. citizen on October 30th. Won't you join me in congratulating Keith on this wonderful occasion? You never know what hidden talents a person might possess. Don Smith has lived in Lake Royale for years, 25 of them to be exact. But it wasn't until recently that his picturesque lakefront property began to show signs of his very unusual talent. You might have glimpsed his work while driving in the 300 block of Sagamore. After all, it's hard to miss a life-size wooden horse rearing up on its hind legs. Chainsaw carving had always interested Don, and for years he thought, I gotta do that someday. It wasn't until he ordered a how-to video off of Amazon that he finally decided to embark on his hobby. What began with a simple carved black bear has blossomed into a veritable wooden menagerie as his property became a showcase for his work. From a massive elephant tucked into the woods to the delightfully whimsical giraffe stretching its neck from beneath his carport, to the charming little trio of fish swimming on his front porch, his artwork is as fun as it is impressive. His favorites are the eagles, the rearing horse took the longest, and the most challenging was his most ambitious undertaking yet, his first human form, life-size and balancing a huge rock upon its shoulders. Don doesn't consider himself to be an artist, but that's exactly what he is in my eyes. Chainsaw carving takes strength, endurance, creativity, and vision. I went to take pictures and ended up with 2 Don Smith originals of my own. The turtle in particular makes me smile every time I look at it. If you'd like to see Don's creation for yourself, cruise on past 321 Sagamore and see just how many pieces you can spot around his yard. To learn more about Don and his wood carving hobby, check out this month's edition of the Royale Reporter. If you're interested in purchasing, talk to the man himself if you see a car in the driveway, or shoot him an email at smith_de@yahoo.com. I, for one, can't wait to see what he'll come up with next. The officers of the Lake Royale Police Department work hard to keep our community safe, but they're not too busy to have a little fun as well. In December, they escorted Santa and his elves for some socially distant Christmas cheer. In April, the Easter Bunny hitched a ride around the lake, giving out free candy along the way, much to the delight of Bonnie Heaney's daughter and grandkids. In the past year, the LRPD also built and installed a blessing box at the Commons. Non-perishable food, toiletries, and other essentials are stocked by the community and made available to anyone in need. Just look at this recent contribution from an anonymous donor. If you missed the recent Shred It event they hosted this spring, have no fear. Plans are already in the works for another one in the future. Lastly, a medication drop box has been installed in the lobby of the Commons for the safe and convenient disposal of any and all superfluous medications. Thanks, Chief Jordan, and the officers of the LRPD, for the community outreach you do all year long. The community suffered the loss of a long-time and dearly loved neighbor in February when Tom Nichols passed away. He was a founding member of the AMVETS Post 201, having served in the 30th Infantry Division of the NC National Guard. In addition to his nearly 2 decades with AMVETS 201, he served on the board of directors here at Lake Royale for 15 years. He had a heart for service and was well known for volunteering wherever he was needed. Even if you never met Tom, you're sure to have seen the beautiful bench that was dedicated in his name at Bighorn Park. So many people's lives have been enriched by Tom's presence, from the students who won prizes from the committees he chaired, to the feral cats of Rollsville that benefited from his passion for helping cats, to the friends who will cherish their memories of a gregarious, kind-hearted man who readily put the needs of others above his own. He was one of the good ones, and he'll be dearly missed. Special thanks to Christy Wilder, Chris Phillips, and Andy Smith for their photo contributions. Even in these trying times, people have found fun and safe ways to socialize with their neighbors. Take, for example, the yoga group that Cindy Shin organizes. They can be found on Tuesdays and Sundays at 9 a.m. at the Rocket Ship Playground, for now, making use of the covered Tolan Fitness area. Having recently joined them, I can attest to the benefits of yoga, as can the phenomenally flexible Hope Shang. Who says the splits are for the under 70 crowd? Namaste, my friends. The golf course is another fabulous nearby option for socially distanced exercise. Jacqueline Engler tells me of the recent open house where families enjoyed a bit of putt-putt and others hit the fairway with less conventional companions. Randy Davis, the resident PGA pro and manager, is a great asset to the course. Check out the website at rivergolf.net for a calendar of events, which includes weekly Super Ball, women's group, couples Super Ball, and more. And while we're on the subject, 3 cheers to Mark Koppel, who scored a hole-in-one this summer on the 16th hole. Now for something a little more off the wall. This year marks the 5th anniversary of the annual Lake Royale Flotilla. Started by John Queen, this isn't an official event, but rather a private meetup of friends and neighbors. Last year's theme was Float Like an Egyptian, while this year's will be Love Boat Fantasy Island. Keep an eye out if you're on the water July 17th. There's bound to be some very interesting vessels floating by. I'll close this edition with some gorgeous shots of our wonderful lake. Sherry Colmus captured this glorious early morning scene at the clubhouse. Andy Smith has quite the photographer's eye, as well as a photographer's toy. Her drone images are always a treat. Val Mitchison snapped this delightful sunset image. Thanks, ladies, for sharing, and thanks to all the contributors that made this video possible. Well, that's it for the 2nd edition of Some Good News Lake Royale. If you'd like to contribute to the next one, please send videos, pictures, and stories, or information about a neighbor you'd like to highlight to sgnlakeroyale@gmail.com. I'm Erin Reber, and I'll see you on the water.